So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. It is Monaco Race Week. So, we'll be previewing the Monaco Grand Prix. We'll also be talking about the Monaco E-Prix, which happened last week, and then going through our predictions for this weekend. It's just a short little one, but does the job. Unlike the Monaco race. It's not a short little one. It's what, 70 laps, 80 laps?
76, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's going to be a long one this weekend. Let's just hope it's exciting.
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the Formula E race, I'll actually be amazed. Because I think I'll just start off Formula E by saying they need to stay using the full Grand Prix track.
Yeah.
Because that just made it so much better.
Yeah, no, 100%.
When they had their own, because they used to change right at Saint Devote, didn't they? When they went down there, it just it didn't bring as much to the table as the full Grand Prix circuit did. And I mean, there were moves being made all over the place, which is ridiculous to think considering it's Monaco, but was brilliant to see.
Yeah, it was one. It was a case where Formula E's, sort of unique rules and that sort of thing actually worked very well because it brought some overtaking to Monaco. I mean, we saw one up the hill, didn't we, from Mitch Evans, which was brilliant. And then, there was so much going on throughout the field, and obviously on the last lap, where we can have the argument: is it real racing when someone's like running out of energy and trying to keep everyone behind? I mean, but it's always so exciting when that happens,
isn't it?
Yeah. If you're going to be able to do it at any circuit, it's Monaco.
Yeah, and I think there was a massive train of cars coming across the line, wasn't there? Again, it was Evans, wasn't it? Who was right on the limit.
Yeah, it's trying to beat him on the line.
His move on the exit of swimming pool chicane, sort of cutting across that, was a bit questionable. But I mean, they got him on the line anyway. But I think more people probably would have got past had he not taken a bit of a shortcut there.
That was the only thing. They did run a slightly different chicane at the end of the tunnel, which was strange, but well. I don't think that the real chicane would suit Formula E cars. To be fair, it doesn't really suit any cars.
Yeah, there was a couple of cases, wasn't there, where there was a bit of almost a car park. I mean, at the hairpin on the first lap.
Yeah. I mean, you had someone going over the top of someone else.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be like a massive,
Wait, what happened? I missed like the first 20 minutes of it.
I think it was literally just there was so many. I think there was about 3 wide in the middle of the pack, wasn't there? Through the hairpin. Yeah. And it just resulted in a crunch, basically.
Oh God.
I mean, if you'd listened to it, it literally sounded like bumper cars. And that's probably the one problem I have with Formula E is the amount of just like nose to tail bumping that goes on in it. And it's just, I don't know. I don't really enjoy it. Like, I know that in other sports, that's kind of a thing, especially like in NASCAR, that's very much the done thing. But I feel like for a sport that's sort of conceptualized off Formula One and that sort of approach to aerodynamics, I don't think bumping into everyone is how they envisioned their racing to be going, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it was how it's envisioned, but it's a bit different from Formula One because the cars can actually follow close, which allows bumper cars to happen. Whereas Formula One, you get within a second of a driver in front, you just can't follow anymore. Which is why we invented DRS.
And why we've had the 2022 rule change to car design.
Time will tell if that one works.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. Attack mode was in a very interesting location. Down turn 4,
I was wrong. I still don't know what those. Still a mystery what the green things were for on the right up the hill, but Yeah.
It was pre-marking out Mitch Evans's overtake.
Yeah.
But yeah, Casino Square, it's not the widest corner. It was quite an interesting.
No, but it meant that they
place
did
to
have
put
to
it.
slow down to go and get it.
Yeah.
Which was good, because that was something we were trying to figure out, was where can they put it that's actually slower to go round the long way, but also is still possible. Because it was never going to work at the hairpin, and other corners it just wasn't feasible. Like Raskas, not going to work there.
No.
Sandavot, there's one line. I mean, most of Monaco is just one line, really.
I mean, you could invent 2 lines for Sandavot, as I think we discussed in the preview, where you let all the cars do the Mojave Raghunathan line, and then for attack mode, send them round the actual turn 1.
Yeah. But to be honest, I think where they put it was better. Because it meant that you really had to be careful going to get it. Basically, you overcook it on the way out of that, and well, you're in the barrier at the exit of Casino, and you're going to look like a bit of a mug.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was a good place because it meant that quite often someone would get past on the way down into Mirabeau, and then they'd have to try and get past them again, usually through the tunnel. But if they were brave and quick enough, then potentially round the outside of Mirabeau, inside of the hairpin. I think, was it Jev that did that move? I think, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
Someone went and got attack mode and did around the outside of Mirabeau, inside of the hairpin, and made it stick. So, I mean, fair play. That was good. But I think Monaco was actually more interesting than a standard Formula One race.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It promotes overtaking somewhere where you're not normally meant to overtake.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hopefully Formula One can follow this weekend. So speaking of this weekend, I guess a quick reminder: the weekend schedule isn't really a weekend schedule. It's part of the week, part of the weekend. Free practice 1 and 2 will take place on Thursday, with free practice 3 and qualifying on Saturday, and then the race on Sunday as normal. But yeah, pulled forward a day for Monaco, as it has been for quite a few years. So if you are planning to watch the sessions, Thursday, not Friday. Shall we discuss the race and what are we expecting this weekend?
I mean, I'm expecting a blistering Saturday and a 2019 repeat on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It was mildly exciting.
Yeah, it was just frustrating because it was so many laps of just, you can't overtake.
Oh no, my tires are gone.
Yeah.
To be fair, this time they actually were.
Yeah. But it was one of those annoying races where it was just the car behind had clear pace, and at any other circuit would have romped to a victory. But because it's Monaco and you can park your car in the middle of the road and nobody can go around you, you win.
I mean, yeah, I think I won a race on the game with a fully red front wing because I just sort of park it in the centre.
Well,
it
I mean,
just trundled round.
You literally can't do the hairpin in the game if you're on a controller, can you? So
yeah,
that's what I find anyway. It's probably just me. But
no, I do struggle on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always into the wall.
It's Codemasters, yeah. And then it gets worse every lap because you always damage your wing a little bit more.
Exactly. And you end up with no wing. But
it was the same as 2018, wasn't it? In terms of Ricardo obviously had, was it MG UK? They're gone. And any other track, he'd have been, miles behind, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd have had to retire.
Yeah. It would have been, I mean, think about Charles in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the engine issue, and Lewis just goodbye.
2 seconds elapsed.
And
I think
yeah.
Ricciardo, well, he retired in about half the races that year, didn't he? Because of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like
I'm
8
assuming,
races.
I'm assuming that same issue happened at some stage and made him have to retire because it's Monaco. I guess it makes things different. That's something.
Yeah. That being said, in 2019, Max probably shouldn't have been anywhere near Lewis because he should have had at least one car in front of him before Lewis. If Red Bull hadn't have just been like, "Oh, there's Valtteri. Go anyway."
I mean, it's Valtteri. He's just a rolling roadblock at this point.
I know.
It's one of those things where, like, because it's Monaco, I mean, I don't think they thought at that exact point, oh, we have to do an unsafe release here for track position, even if we take the penalty. But it actually probably, ultimately it had to be done if they wanted any chance of winning, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Track position is that important at Monaco. You're willing to take any kind of penalty given to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing, because he was just like, oh, I'll just, take a 5-second penalty, and if I can get past him, then I can pull that easy. But it was just, it was the getting past that was the issue. So.
And then he tried to send it into the chicane and just drove into Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was still amazed actually that Hamilton didn't get a puncture from that.
I'm amazed nobody broke anything majorly there. Like, you try that on a game, somebody loses like their suspension. Yeah. And then there's suddenly a pile up and there's like 8 cars there, and the safety car tries and goes through.
Just plows everyone out of the way.
Bring back the red flags.
It does need it for some things. Like, I had a clip on my game. I was around Zandvoort, and Perez had pulled off to the side, completely out of the way, but still yellow flags in the sector. Gasly comes along and just parks it on the apex of the corner. Just stops there because there's yellow flags and Perez is off. And then like Danny Rick, Valtteri Bottas, and about 4 other cars just careen into the rear end of Gasly. I think like 3 cars had 5-second penalties, and then 2 more DNF'd, and it was just.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about Codemasters when we do that episode on the game.
We'll discuss that just before the game's release. But yeah, odds of a red flag this weekend, would you say?
100%.
Mazepin.
Mazepin's on the grid.
The thing is,
during the race or any session?
The race.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There will be a red flag because there's a red flag every weekend.
Yeah.
If we take into account practice, but during the race.
I don't know. I'd say a strong 75%.
Does it normally happen?
We don't normally get a red flag.
We haven't had a red flag in Monaco since
I remember
2014 or something. It's been a while. I'll bring up the list of red flag races.
Singapore.
I'm surprised we don't get a car park. I'm surprised we don't get a car park more often because it nearly happened, didn't it, last time? Yeah,
there was nearly one in 2019.
I'm actually quite surprised it doesn't happen more often, to be fair. But talking about Mazepin, we joke about him, but he's literally, if he's going to be in the barrier at some point for a start, because he can't do a weekend without spinning, and if you spin in Monaco,
you're in the barrier.
Wall. So, but literally, he's going to be so fast the pace.
The last red flag we saw in Monaco was 2013, featuring the precursor to Nikita Mazepin, Pastor Maldonado.
Of course, it's Pastor. Oh God! I mean, that bodes well for a Mazepin, doesn't it? If the Lord Pastor does it, then who is he to not?
Blue flags as well. Mazepin. I mean, you can't get out of the way on any other track.
I'm adamant he's going to be about 3 seconds a lap slower.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. But we said this last week, didn't we? He genuinely might decide the race with the blue flags if he can't get out of the way. There's a good chance he could take someone out.
Yeah, I think that's more likely because
he almost took out Perez at
train will just form rather than somebody getting past. Similar to how Lewis just lost position in Singapore because of blue flags.
Yeah,
he'll receive so many blue flags. He'll just have to park it at the side of the track and wait for everyone to go past.
Yeah.
Apart from it's
him, blue flag train.
So what do we reckon? Do we reckon Mazepin's going to get lapped by his teammate this week?
Well,
I'm going to be honest, I don't see Mazepin getting that far into the race that he'll be lapped by anyone.
Okay.
That's fair.
Did we say we're going to do what
lap
Mazepin
predictions.
be lapped bingo? Was it?
Yeah, hang on. So let's get the official number of how many laps are at the Grand Prix. I'm pretty sure
I think I know what
76.
everyone's going to answer anyway, as to when Mazepin's going to finish his race.
Well,
There's a lot. I mean, there's what lap he'll be lapped. There's what lap he'll crash.
78 laps.
And how many laps
God.
he finish. How many laps behind he's going to finish.
if he does.
If he
Okay,
finishes,
so
yeah.
Mazepin bingo. Will he finish? Alex?
It's actually a tough question. Like, I'm actually going to say yes, just for the purpose of how many laps down I think he'll be.
Nia, will he finish?
No. Just
Ben,
no.
will he finish?
Yes.
Richard, will he finish?
I think he will.
Oh, well, I'm with Nia. He won't finish. So, Nia, what lap will he DNF?
Oh, I'd say maybe in the first third of the race. I'm not quite sure.
We need an
which
exact
lap.
number.
I need a lap number here.
Oh God. Oh, let's go 25. Why not?
I'm going with 1.
Bold.
I have a little bit of hope for him. Not much, but a little bit.
Lap 1.
What it takes is for someone to get a grid penalty, and then someone's actually going to try and overtake him. Which
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
It's true.
Yeah, but that's implying that he doesn't also get a grid penalty in qualifying, which he is very capable of.
Which he has done.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what lap is Mazepin getting lapped for the first time?
Remind me how many laps there are in the race?
It's
78.
78.
Right. So if he's about 3 seconds off pace, plus traffic at the start. Oh, I can't work that out. I'm not clever enough for that. Lap
Good math.
21.
Ben?
9 plus 10.
34.
4. Richard?
That's
Actually trying to calculate it.
Quick math.
Oh, I'm not clever enough to do that.
I'm going to go for 26, hoping that nobody
Nia,
makes a pit
you've
stop
got
before that.
Mazepin going that far into the race. So will he
Yeah.
be lapped before he crashes?
Maybe. Who knows? I'm not that
We
good at math to
require a
work it
yes
out.
or no.
I'm not that good at math to work it out either. So I'm going to say no. He's
No.
close to being lapped, but he
So
crashes
he's
before
going to
that.
crash out when he gets the blue flags.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
Well, he could lose his front wing on the first lap and then be a lap
Yeah.
down.
That's true.
This
Yeah, he
is
could.
true.
That's very possible.
I guess for the other 3 who've got him finishing, how many laps down does he finish?
Right, so 21 and there's 78 laps, so 3 laps down.
3 laps down. Okay.
Ben?
4.
4 laps down. Oh,
Oh,
Wow,
I reckon
you're seeing
he'll, like,
some
knock his
serious
front wing off.
tyre gig there. Like
That's
34
a good
laps
point,
to get
actually.
lapped at the first time, and then 4
Yeah,
laps down total.
They
Damn.
keep getting blue flags, panic, put it in the wall, get a front wing, reboot over and over and over.
that is
Hit the
possible.
fastest lap.
I'm going to say he's going
Richard?
to finish. I'm going to say he's going to finish 2 laps down.
I think if he finishes, it'll be 2 laps down, but I still don't think he'll make it past lap 1.
I love this insight that we're giving.
Really making
This
that
is-
the
This
first
is
corner.
what our subscribers sign up for. The pure guesswork that goes into how many laps Mazepin's going to make it into a Monaco Grand Prix.
I think we've
And,
actually discussed
Quality
him more than any other driver.
probably. I mean, if we'd done this back in like Pastor Maldonado's day when he was crashing, we'd have probably been discussing him a lot. So,
To be
It's-
fair, if we'd done this during Roman's Lotus days, we probably would have been discussing Roman.
yeah, I think
Um,
generally you discuss the best and the worst drivers on the grid.
Mm.
Those who deserve the praise that they get, and those who don't deserve the seat they're in.
Yeah. Well, all jokes aside, we discuss him so much because he's literally like, he's genuinely a hazard in Monaco, isn't he?
Yeah, I
That's
remember.
not
I mean,
even
he's
like,
a hazard anyway. At Monaco,
Yeah.
he's just a walking disaster.
I think there was
Singapore as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ocon
God.
did an interview with someone, and they asked, "Are you scared when you see Mazepin on the track?" He said, "100%. I am very scared."
yeah,
Just
I'm
like
always-
he drives a lot more safely when Mazepin's there because he doesn't want him to crash into him.
Yeah,
It's like that's how worrying it is.
but yeah, Singapore. Imagine it rains in Singapore. We've seen how
Anytime.
badly that went for 3 good drivers.
Mm.
I mean,
In
I think as soon as it
2017.
rains in Singapore, he's in the wall.
Yeah.
If,
So as
if
soon as it
only we
rains
had the
any-
old Singapore sling.
Oh no.
How many
Airborne
people will he
overflow.
take out?
But yeah, so we've played Mazepin Bingo. I guess this might just be a good point to do the predictions.
Yeah,
While we're talking predictions, we might as well get them in here now.
yeah. I've got all 7 in, thankfully, after some last minute WhatsApp persuasion. So Alex went for Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen.
I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty safe, to be honest.
Yeah.
it's not too exciting, is it? But
It's Monaco.
yeah, I kind of just thought, I don't know why, I had a feeling Mercedes seemed to be quicker in the slower speed corners, was my sort of impression that I've been getting. But then I saw an interview earlier today, Christian Horner was like, oh, we were strong in the third sector at Spain, which is always the the metric everyone uses, isn't it? So but I'm not changing it because you've always got to go with the first instinct.
Oh, you can't change it now. I've said it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's locked in.
Yeah.
Ben went for Hamilton, Verstappen, Ricardo.
Want to dream.
Admiring the dream there. Plus, I mean, he's won a race there, so you know he's got the experience of parking the bus. So
It'd be strong, but I'm not sure if it'd be that strong. But
Chris went for, I think, what we'll just have to describe as Old Faithful of Hamverbot.
Hamverbot, boys.
Nia also went for Hamverbot, and oh, look at that! I also went for Hamverbot. So faithful from us this weekend.
Yep, and we also have early predictions on social media as far back as the 10th of May, literally a week before recording. We had some predictions in on the Discord.
Oh god, they were I mean, Lily once again has gone in with Old Faithful.
Hamverbot. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, where have they gone?
I don't think we need to bother asking for hers anymore. We just say
No, I think we just need to
yeah.
like automatically
Hamverbot.
enroll.
Yeah.
We all said Hamilton to win so far then? Or Ben, did you say Verstappen?
No,
I said Hamilton.
everyone has said Hamilton to win
Yeah.
so far.
This is the thing, I'm not so sure now. It's like the thing is, like, Red Bull seem to be quicker over one lap, don't they? Whereas Mercedes are quicker in the race. So
Yeah.
obviously you'd think if Verstappen can stick it on pole, possibly even, I think Perez is threatening a good result now. Then obviously park the bus in the race, and it's not, well, they've been side by side, haven't they, in every race so far? I'm not sure that's going to be Verstappen and Hamilton have. I'm not sure that's going to be happening again in Monaco.
Oh, see, everyone's changed their name on the Discord, so now I don't know who anyone is anymore. Ah, right.
Yeah.
So Rembembo went for Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas. I'm literally just scrolling through the Discord, which is why I'm probably staring
Hambal
intently at this one.
93 went for Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez.
Yeah. And Inda went for the same as Ham. And then there's Lily's
Again,
Old
yeah.
Faithful. So yeah, I think that's it. Yes,
that's everyone from Discord. Yep.
And then we've got Sonia's and Mason's in.
Yep.
Sonia went for Ben's prediction of Hamilton, Verstappen, Ricardo.
Oh.
So
I really want to know, Ben, where is Bottas and Perez?
Retired.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones that got caught up with Mazepin.
Yeah.
How is
Mazepin's
Mazepin that
casualties.
far up the grid
But-
to take him with
So
him?
He sent
he's
heroics
getting
into
lapped.
Sandevot.
So then the blue flags come up. Perez behind him. He's panicked. Put it in the wall. Perez has hit him. He's out the race.
To be
This
fair,
all
it's
seems
not,
quite
like,
far-flung.
it's not
I mean-
impossible. Like Bottas is bad enough normally, isn't he? When he like falls back into the pack. Say he has a bad qualifying or something. It's not.
I mean,
impossible.
say one person jumps him on the start.
Exactly. Yeah. Then he's he's stuck forever, isn't he? Until maybe a pit stop.
Yeah. And then Mason is the only person to not predict Hamilton as the winner, because Mason has gone for Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez. So, yeah, it's a largely Hamilton favoured bunch here, but I think given his record at Monaco, that's justifiable.
Or anywhere.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And we have a new thing for this week going on with the rest of the season. Similar to the point for fastest lap, we're doing 1 point for pole position. Because predicting fastest lap is just who's going to pit at the end of the race. So Mason has went for Verstappen. Alex has put in a standing order for Hamilton to get pole position unless he says otherwise. Richard has went for Max, but you've got Hamilton to win.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is the
Max
Monaco Grand Prix.
Max set fastest lap last time round. So,
But this is the Monaco Grand Prix.
I don't know. I just feel like Red Bull usually are quite strong at Monaco, especially on, as we've said, 1 lap pace. They're usually right. It's usually a very close fight for pole.
Ben has Hamilton. Nia, you didn't tell me who you have, so you get to tell us all right here. Who's getting up in pole?
Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
What a surprise. To be honest, I completely forgot we were doing this, so that's why I didn't give it in.
Lily has went for Hamilton, and Ham has went for Verstappen. And Lily has also put Mazepin, qualify P20.
Yeah.
As, yeah. Instead of giving me a pole prediction, they've given me a P20. GPS has went for Mazepin as well. To start on the back of the grid.
Actually, he's going to make the 107% rule.
Oh, yeah, that is the question. They're really lenient on that though. It's like as long as you set a time in any of the practice sessions.
Yeah,
then...
I remember it used to be a thing when HRT were racing.
They added it because teams in the 90s and stuff were showing up and were like 10 seconds off the pace in quali. Whereas now, if you set a representative lap time at some point during the weekend, you'll be allowed to start because it's clear you have some sort of pace.
Does he though?
Enough. He has enough.
Also debatable.
Hang on, I'm just getting Sonia's pole prediction.
Well, Ragunathan was allowed to race in F2, wasn't he?
This is true.
So.
Yeah.
Sonia has gone for Hamilton.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's other big news this week. So I guess that sort of sums up Monaco.
No, I mean, that's it's not a lot that's happened since last time.
But yeah, big news this week. Turkey has gone from the calendar.
Yeah.
And the Styrian Grand Prix is back. So a bit of a shift to the calendar. The weekend that was meant to be the Canadian Grand Prix is now blank. We're not going racing on the 13th. France has been pulled forward a week to the 20th, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we're getting a triple header.
Which we don't normally get before the summer break, which is quite nice.
or we weren't scheduled to have before the summer break.
Yeah.
Last season's
Yeah,
was
last
triple header
season.
galore. Yeah.
Yeah. Last
So
season
we're-
was the exception to that
That's
because
still-
Yeah, we're going racing in France on the
The weekend is the 18th
Yeah.
and 20th of June.
the 20th.
does that affect Roman's test drive?
Yeah,
Does
he's not doing
Roman-
the
yeah.
demonstration on the weekend, but he is getting his test drive.
Okay.
he's still getting his full
At
day
least he's
test.
getting his drive, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
sad that he won't have the same
won't
sort
have
of
spectators,
amount of people there. But he's doing well in IndyCar.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
a
he got
podium.
Pole position
And
and
pole position
P2.
on the maiden podium, yeah.
So
Then the weekend of the 25th to the 27th, we are going to the Red Bull Ring for the Styrian Grand Prix. Because the Austrian Grand Prix was already scheduled for the 2nd to the 4th, so it made sense just to slot Styria in between. So yeah, a wee cheeky triple header, another Austrian double header. Hopefully we'll have more than 11 cars finish the first Austrian race this time round.
well, that was Austrian Grand Prix last time. So they've got
Yeah.
Styria first this time. So I think more people will finish. It's the curse of the name. It's always
I
with
see.
the name.
What's
But yeah.
I wonder what they're doing with the fans, because they're meant to have fans, aren't they? The Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then are they gonna
I
have-
don't know if
selling
they're
tickets,
sort
so
of
I don't know.
launching an emergency ticket
And
sale
then
area, or if
Grand
they're
Prix,
just
yeah.
going to give fans tickets for both weekends.
and in the French Grand Prix, they've moved it, haven't they? So I
Yeah,
don't know what
they've literally just moved the Grand Prix, so the tickets and stuff will all be valid for the
Yeah.
week earlier.
But there'll be people that like are going to go on holiday, or I would have thought the
Yeah.
week before or something. Can't do it, but yeah.
Formula 3 is also moving alongside the French Grand Prix. So Formula won't be racing in Styria. They will be racing in France as scheduled. Just on a new week. So yeah, that was this week's big news, was the change to the calendar. Any thoughts?
I mean, isn't that about 4 triple headers now or something?
Yes, 4 triple headers.
Which when we said a couple of years ago, where F1 said, "Oh, we want to make it less, stressful on the teams. They can see their families more, that sort of thing."
More.
Haha, 23 race calendar, go burr.
Yeah.
COVID condensed calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And-
whole Canada thing was a bit dumb because it was just the authorities not actually saying anything. They were just like, "Oh, it's your problem." No, it's your problem. And nobody actually made a decision. So F1 just went, "Fine, we're going to go somewhere else then." But then
Turkey's been cancelled by the UK government, in essence, putting it in the red
Yeah.
list.
yeah, because the majority of teams are UK based, so then they wouldn't be allowed to return to the UK post Turkish Grand Prix. But they've had to
Which I
relocate.
found strange because there's exemptions in place for all the travel rules, has been all through COVID for elite sport, of
Mm.
which F1 is.
Yeah,
I think it
I
might
think
just be for, I'm not sure whether it was just for elite athletes or for
Yeah,
the whole
that's-
teams.
that's the thing.
Because I read
Yeah.
somewhere it was just for the athletes, so that's why Daniel Ricciardo was able to come from LA or something to McLaren.
But then,
but I'm
when
not
you-
sure about the whole teams.
when you think about it though, the whole teams travel for football, like coaches and everything.
Yeah,
as
but
many
they
people, though.
usually get like sections of planes booked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like not as many people for football, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a 23-man squad and probably a dozen backroom staff at most.
Still, I think it's probably more than that, but still, an F1 team is a
A
lot,
lot
isn't it?
more.
Like,
Yeah,
Couple hundred people.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is disappointing to lose Turkey from the calendar. I was quite looking forward to the Turkish Grand Prix.
Well, Codemasters now have an excuse for not to add Turkey
yeah.
to their game, so
Yeah.
joy. Can't rag on them for that now.
Which means we'll probably only have 22 tracks in the game.
Yeah.
They said Canada
Um,
staying.
Oh, is Canada still going to be in the game? Well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, they said it was the calendar would be as planned at the
As
start of the
originally
season,
announced.
much like last year's game.
But
And
then
then
that,
they went-
there was a TBC round,
This is true.
and that means that Vietnam is possibly still going to be in the game as well.
yeah, I think it will be.
I don't see why they can't just keep all of the tracks in and then just have a calendar. Like in the My Team,
Yeah.
you can shorten the season and then pick and choose what tracks you want. Why can't
Bye-bye,
we just have
Vietnam.
that anyway?
Yeah.
So, I mean, because at the end of the day, adding the Styrian Grand Prix is as simple as changing the flag.
Yeah.
From the Austrian to the Styrian flag, and changing the text overlays from Austria to Styria, and that is it.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got the track, they've got absolutely everything they could possibly need for it. It is just cosmetics that they need to change, and then you'd have the Styrian Grand Prix as well.
Well,
So
I'm sure,
Oh yeah,
sure we'll
like,
get Imola eventually in about 8 months' time when they've finished breaking the game enough.
when
yeah.
we've finished breaking multiplayer by absolutely sending it on no rules.
I mean, that's what no rules multiplayer's for.
Exactly. Corners at Monza? No.
No.
No chance.
Best track for no rules is actually Paul Ricard.
Well, yeah, because it's just a car park. You can just drive wherever you like.
That's actually great fun. I think that takes more skill than actually driving the track, trying to work out the best lines.
Where's your breaking point? It's about 3 miles that way, and then you take a sweeping line through.
What's brakes?
Oh, sorry, engine braking. You downshift to like just swing the car around.
Just fly off the circuit. But like that karting video.
Oh god, that was
I'm sure
mental.
Oh god.
I was not expecting that as well. So I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be like some kind of incident where like one of them had deliberately crashed into someone else out of rage or something like we've seen before, and just seeing them all fly off the road.
Yeah, I was listening to the commentary and it was just like, okay, well, they'd obviously had some rain before because there was a dry line on the track, and then they got to about turn 2 and they just started chucking it down. And then the marshals, in vain, holding out the slippery surface flag as just
the red and yellow flag.
Every single cart just slides off the corner.
I'd be so scared if I was like one of the first carts to go off.
Well,
just watching everyone coming towards you, be like,
exactly.
"Oh God, no!"
Well, it's a bit like that Nürburgring incident at the German Grand Prix. I can't remember what year it was, but in the wet there was just about 6 cars slid off one after the other.
One almost hit the digger, the JCB thing.
I guess the good thing in that instance was it would have been slow speed.
Yeah.
And not like what we had tragically at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah. Sadly, lessons weren't learned from it, and we still did lose Jules. So
lessons were learned at least from Jules' accident, and that's what's given us the virtual safety car.
And in many respects, the Halo.
Yeah.
So Roman has Jules to thank in a way.
A lot of drivers do, like Charles Leclerc as well.
That's
Alonso over the top.
Yeah.
Just leaving him a little rubber skid mark on his Halo, just as a parting gift.
There was another incident as well. I can't remember.
People were saying it helped Bottas in the one with Russell at Imola.
Yes,
because
Bottas is. If you looked at Russell's onboard, his tire literally went like square at Bottas's face, and only the Halo stopped it. So
it's a bit weird to think about. Like, there's been a handful of these where we could say, "Oh, the Halo, might have saved them," but then pre-2017, there was only obviously, the Halo wouldn't have saved Jules Bianchi, would it? But wasn't really.
It might have done.
It might have lessened his injuries. But I think at the speed that he was going into that digger, the Halo probably would have snapped. I think the amount of load put through it would have been. I
don't know, because those they're designed to hold like 7 London buses.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of force that can go through a Halo, which rightly so, given the nature of the crashes that you're trying to stop.
I.e. Roman.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that is just testament to how well it works. He's speared through an Armco barrier at like 163 G or something stupid. And just hopped out because he didn't have his face squished because there was a Halo in front of it. So
Halo, fantastic invention for Formula One.
Yeah, very
Um,
timely as well. By the looks of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
What else is happening this week? Ah,
There was the
McLaren special livery for the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm going to go straight out. I don't like it.
Growing on me. I bought the merch because the merch is nice, but it's growing on me. But I prefer the normal one.
I like it as a one-off. It's very retro, which
Well,
for
that's the
Monaco-
whole thing. It's back to like the 60s, 70s when they first had the partnership.
Yeah.
Um,
I appreciate the sentiment of the livery. I just don't like the livery.
no, I quite like it. It was.
Although,
I think when Golf was first announced, people started making like fan-made versions, and a lot of them are much similar to what we've actually received for this one-off livery, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think just the solid papaya is just so iconic as it is now that I don't think that they'd change it beyond a one-off.
No, I think I'm quite happy it is the one-off. Like, it's a nice livery, but I'm just glad it is just a one-off. Because personally, I don't think the colours mix well with that much orange with that light blue. That they doesn't work really, personally. Anyway, I know a lot of people on Twitter would disagree.
Yeah, Mercedes did take a nice jab at McLaren
Yeah,
Twitter,
God.
with this beauty of a tweet. Retro one-off livery, been there, done that, have the scars to prove it.
Okay, but
Well in.
are Netflix following McLaren at Monaco?
it better not be.
Because if they are, then it is confirmed curse, one-off livery, and Netflix equals bad race.
I don't think we'll know what races Netflix were with which team until the end of the season because it wasn't really published that well.
No,
it was all rumor and speculation last season.
It'll
That's
be,
what it was
can you
like-
see a Netflix
Yeah.
cameraman in the background?
But a lot of the
Following
time
someone.
they're wearing team kit, so you can't really tell if they're for Netflix or for like their social media.
Yeah.
I think I did spot the Netflix crew at Bahrain, as I mentioned in the first episode, sort of following photo, I think it was, away from the Sky interview, and their cameras are quite different from everyone else's, so you can spot them that way. But
I think
because
you
they're
also
not
have,
recording for broadcast, they're recording just for recording.
Yeah.
I think you have to be like actively looking out for them if you really want to find them. Because like I said, a lot of the time they're in team kit, so
Find the guy who doesn't have an aerial attached.
Yeah, basically.
or just look for the person with the boom mic, just like hold
It's a sort of harness camera that they wear
because they like
rather
hold
than
on to
over
keep
the
it steady.
shoulder. Yeah.
And then you have the poor person with the boom mic holding it above their head for like could be hours upon end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pain. I hate doing that.
George did say on Twitter he thinks he's going to have more screen time in this year's Drive to Survive than he did last year.
Well, that's not hard. He just has to like make an appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not Imola.
Oh God.
It probably is. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
probably.
yeah, definitely.
Probably already set up.
Yeah.
Vettel v Bottas.
Already written the episode now.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if it does turn out to be seat changing or whatever later in the season, that probably will end up being an episode and it will be featured.
Yeah.
and they'll say they'll say Bottas make it difficult for Hamilton in Spain was like the big turning point that made Mercedes really angry or something like that, won't they?
Yeah, they'll hype
Photo
that up.
books 3 desks because of it.
Yeah.
The absolute scenes when it turns out that Netflix paid the Daily Mail to run the story about them swapping seats mid-season, just to feed their own fire.
Yeah. I think it was the Sun, but yeah.
No, I wouldn't put it past Daily Mail. So I just, they chat a lot of rubbish. So
They all do.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people actually bringing Ocon back into the argument
Yeah, I've seen
at
that.
the start of the season.
I wouldn't mind
he's
seeing
a-
Ocon in the Mercedes.
I don't know. He's under contract with Alpine though, and I feel like that's probably a good environment for him. Frenchman in a French team,
Yeah.
and he's doing well.
But then Russell was under contract with Williams and he raced in Sakira.
I feel like a one-off race is a lot easier to negotiate than stealing a driver permanently.
I guess there's been a lot of those like mid-contract moves in the past and stuff.
Most of those have come from Red Bull, though.
Yeah.
And given that they own 2 teams, it's a lot easier for them to do that.
Speaking of that, did you see Bottas in the press
Yeah.
conference
Yeah.
for Spain?
Sending those digs.
Do
There's
you
only
feel
one
threat-
team that does that.
Yeah. Do you feel
Yeah.
threatened in your seat? He basically turned around and was like, "No, because I don't drive for Red Bull." It was like, yeah, there's only one team that changes their drivers mid-season. I've got a contract at Mercedes, and that contract will be honoured. I'm like, good on you, Bottas.
But he only
Yeah.
signs 1-year contracts, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
Both Mercedes
To be
drivers
fair,
are out
it's
of
not-
contract at the end of the season.
There's
yeah,
talks of Lewis extending his by
Yeah.
2 years. And a lot of people think that George is going to replace Valtteri and then Esteban is going to replace Lewis when he goes. So it'll be George and Esteban.
I thought you were about to say Esteban was going to replace George. I'm like, why are they demoting Esteban?
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, it's not unheard of that a driver's contract can be broken for them to move, because obviously Perez,
Yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't it? But
yeah.
I don't see. Well, for a start, I don't see Ocon being much of an upgrade on Bottas, and they can't risk. I mean, I don't think there's. Well, obviously, this whole thing about Hamilton retiring at the end of the year and his seat being taken by Russell is kind of gone now, isn't it? But I don't see Ocon moving, and obviously, if Lewis is going to stay, there's kind of a sense growing that Russell, it wouldn't be actually such a bad thing if he did end up staying at Williams, because there's talk that they're going to be quite good in 2022, isn't there? They're going to, with the new owners, that sort of thing. But
I don't know how much of that I'm going to believe.
yeah, I mean, every
think-
team has said, "Oh,
yeah. As
the
I
new
say,
rules
let's
are
be
for a start."
honest. Any team can do well off the back of new rules. Look at
Yeah.
Mercedes.
Yeah, I think if Bottas gets another year in Mercedes, I'll be highly disappointed. But B, I think Russell needs at least a year in a more midfield team. For the sake of his racecraft.
I think Bottas will still drive for Mercedes in 2022. With it being the first year of the brand new regulations, I think Mercedes will want consistency in their drivers.
Yeah,
But do
completely
they
agree with
want
that.
consistently second fiddle, or do they want consistently fighting for wins?
They don't care. They're winning championships.
This is true. I'm of the mindset that George is going to be a better racer for them than Valtteri is.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that. But as long as Mercedes are winning championships, they won't care who's in the car, sort of thing.
Especially this year, that Bottas is
Yeah.
exactly what they need.
Yeah.
So,
and right now they're leading both championships by a half-decent margin at this stage in the season.
And probably would be leading it by a little bit more had Russell not speared Bottas in Imola.
Yeah.
2 points more.
Yeah, 1 or 2 points more.
But those points would be crucial.
But exactly, yeah. But I mean, we saw like fastest lap can make a difference between who's on top of the championship or not. So, I mean, I know there's only been 2 races at that point, but still, it made a difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying this could be Gasly's last year. Because
I
they
hope
think,
not.
yeah, I hope
Yeah,
not.
last
but,
year I hope not, but at Red Bull, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people saying that maybe, I'm not exact. Is Liam Lawson in F2? Was he?
Yeah.
He's in the junior formula and he is a Red Bull junior driver.
I'm not exactly sure which formula he's in, but I think he is in Formula 2, and a lot of people were saying how they were going to replace Gasly with Liam Lawson.
I don't see it. I don't see them having Tsunoda and a rookie.
Yeah, but I also
if they're not forced to be.
I also saw some people say that Gasly should move to Alpine.
Yes.
But obviously they're both in contract, I think, in Alpine. Not sure about...
yeah, Liam Lawson is currently in F2.
Yeah, I saw some people say like he's going to be brought up to AlphaTauri, because we know how Helmut Marko is trigger happy and bringing up new drivers. And people were saying Gasly could go to Alpine, which I do think would be better for Pierre, but I don't see it happening now anyway.
Now, Sergio's only on a 1-year contract. Could we see Gasly back in the Red Bull next season.
If it didn't happen after he won a race, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah,
That would allow
There's-
for the Lawson move because they just dropped
True.
Sergio. He means nothing to Red Bull
True.
in the long run. They haven't invested in. So promote Gasly, promote Liam.
there's
got
a
both.
lot of backroom politics at Red Bull.
Oh,
though.
Yeah. The problem is they've got too much of an ego to admit that they made a
That
mistake.
they made a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
always the problem.
I don't see Pierre himself saying he wants to go back to Red Bull, really. I think he might have said something like that.
Yeah, he said something
Before.
similar on Drive to Survive.
Yeah, he
that
said something
wasn't
similar, but-
interested really in going back to Red Bull.
Yeah, but I don't see him going back there, especially since they kicked him out, even
Yeah.
though he was still getting used to the car, which is basically cursed, which we now know is most likely cursed. So, like, I don't see him going back to that environment.
Yeah.
That's
If
a good
Red Bull
point.
gave up all their eggs in one basket mentality, they'd actually be a strong team.
Yeah. How many times
But
has
the
it
fact
cost them
that it's-
already?
The fact that it's all about Max Verstappen.
That's where their problems lie.
That's the thing. Mercedes have been the perfect team, haven't they, for the last 4 and a bit years? But that's a good point you made about Gasly, because I've kind of been thinking. I mean, we're going into silly season a little bit, which we're saving, aren't we, for later? But
Yeah, we're
but-
approaching the
but-
start of silly season, though.
I'd only penned it in for then because that's generally when it
Yeah.
kicks off.
Yeah.
But on Gasly, yeah, I mean, he's kind of obviously he's very happy at AlphaTauri, isn't he? But he's kind of achieved everything he can there, because obviously they're never going to be a championship
Yeah, they're not.
team, are they? Coupled with the fact that obviously there's all the Red Bull politics, like you said, and there's several young drivers, isn't there, actually, that are doing pretty well and could well be promoted. And there's obviously the natural move is to Alpine, but obviously I doubt Ocon's not going to get kicked out, and unless that move to Mercedes happens, he's not going to leave, is he? For whatever reason.
But then
And I can't
Fernando's only on a 2-year contract, I think. So
But yeah,
even if we see Gasly at AlphaTauri in 2022, that would be perfect for Alpine. 2 French drivers in a French team in a French car.
I thought Ocon and Gasly don't get on.
No, they don't. They haven't really gotten along since they
Yeah.
were like in karting. But
This is Formula One.
They're
Yeah.
doing a
Yeah.
press conference together for Monaco. They're together for the press conference, so that'll be interesting.
And also, this is Formula One. If you're offered a seat, you're going to take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm looking through the teams, and I don't see where else he'd go, to be
Yeah,
honest, because Ferrari are looking quite comfortable with Carlos and Charles.
And Carlos is really there just to wait for Mick to get experience to go up to Ferrari, isn't he?
Pretty much,
Really?
yeah. I mean, McLaren
Aston?
are pretty set. Aston, both drivers are under contract,
Yeah.
right?
But,
And one of
but
them
will
is Seb.
Doesn't mean anything.
Will Seb stick around?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It
I
actually
don't know.
wouldn't
I think
surprise
if
me.
he stops enjoying it, then I think he's going to go.
Yeah.
I think he stays for new rules, but if they
Yeah.
are as bad as they are this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he, enters contract early.
How long
But,
is
I mean,
his
this is-
contract? Or is like
I think it's
just
4
multi
years, isn't
years?
it?
Oh wow.
I think.
Kimmy
I'm
as
not
well.
Sure. I mean,
When
Kimmy's
Kimmy give up
just
the
doing this
hobby.
as a hobby at this point.
Yeah.
And
I think Kyler Milot's most likely going to get Kimmy's seat
yeah,
once he
I hope
leaves.
so.
you're
But
looking
Yeah.
at
if Schwartzman, ups his game,
once you
He's-
start getting into
Wait.
those sort of teams, you're looking at where junior drivers going to go. So
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
that's the
think-
thing. I mean, every time a driver sort of gets hung out to dry, like what happened with Hulkenberg, what looked like it was going to happen with Perez, that the rumours are always, Haas, Alfa Romeo, aren't they?
Yeah.
Generally, but then you've got to fit in the young drivers. You've got to fit in if Raikkonen's going to carry on. Everyone kind of assumes Giovinazzi is always going to get dropped, but he never does.
I think
And
he's like
then-
pretty solid for them until they find like a better junior driver. maybe.
Giovinazzi's quite a good driver, though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
He's pretty solid for Alfa Romeo.
he's
to be
definitely
fair.
doing well this year.
Mm.
He's been on the fringes
I
of
don't
points
think-
in pretty much all the races except for Spain, but that was a pit
Yeah.
stop failure. But
I don't see Giovinazzi going anywhere but Alfa Romeo, to be honest, because Ferrari have their heart set on having Mick there once Carlos goes, and I don't see him going anywhere else.
Yeah. So right now, Schwartzman is 8th in the Formula 2
yeah,
Championship.
he hasn't got off to a good start.
He got fourth
Lawson
last year.
is 2nd.
Who else is in the Prima Series? Piastri, isn't it?
Oscar
Yeah.
Piastri, yeah.
Yeah, Oscar Piastri's 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Schwartzman got
5 points ahead of Schwartzman.
Yeah, Schwartzman got 4th last year, so he didn't do too bad in his rookie F2 season.
It is, of course, worth noting, though, we've only had 1 round.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we forgot
everyone,
to preview about Monaco. Formula 2's back,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
and so's FRECA.
all
Oh,
34
God, oh, yeah.
cars in FRECA
Well, I
are
don't know if
racing
it's
in
going to be
Monaco.
34 this time, because they said
No.
last time out that because some of the drivers have other
Yeah,
responsibilities, that they were running 32 cars in Imola, and then there was supposed to be 34 in Spain, but people conked out with issues, so
No, there was-
only 32 started.
yeah, and then there was only about 30 in Imola, I think.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was only
Because-
30 in Imola.
Yeah,
But even then, 30 cars.
I
lining
mean, I
up.
talked about bumper cars with Formula E, and there's 20 cars in that, I think.
Yeah.
no, it's more than that. Is
22?
There's
Either way, times it by FRECA.
Yeah,
24
24 in
In-
Formula E.
Formula E.
We should do a bingo for FRECA of how many front wings are going to get destroyed. Oh god, I don't.
Whether it
I
was,
mean, we
I
saw it in Spain. Chaos.
Mm.
Like, it literally, both races took less than a minute and a half after the start for the safety car to come out. So I don't
Yeah, but if we
see
want
how
to
it's-
talk chaos in Spain, look at Formula 3, where we had 4 race leaders in 5 laps
yeah, but
because they kept crashing into each other.
Yeah, my thinking is that it's Monaco, and if an incident like that happens on lap 1 again,
Mhm.
it's probably going to be red flagged, and it's just going to be then a cycle of start, crash, red flag, start, until there's literally not enough cars for them to crash into each other.
Or not enough time for them to run the race.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on the drivers, but
I think a little. They are still
Two-
talented.
yeah, but
A lot
2
of them are,
races,
like-
both coming out with a safety car in a minute and a half.
Yeah, but in FRECA, it's like a lot of them, it's maybe their second formula in like single seaters. So like
Yeah.
obviously that's very, very junior. And
I mean,
maybe,
yeah, a lot of them are like
yeah.
16, 17.
yeah, a lot. I know, I think all the Prema boys are 16, 17. And maybe even the
So-
ART as well, I'm not sure.
The first FRECA race is at 10:15 track time on Saturday, and before FP1. So there is the possibility of an FP1 delay. That being said, however, there is ACM guest laps in between then, so there is a lot of time to clear up.
Okay.
Yep.
So they'll probably just
Um,
cancel the guest laps if they need it.
yeah, and the second FRECA race is on Sunday at 10 to 12 track time.
Yeah, there's generally more time on a Sunday anyway.
Formula 2 are not racing on the Sunday.
They're doing what, Friday, Saturday then?
Formula 2 are racing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yeah.
Blimey.
Practice and qualifying on Thursday, and qualifying is split into groups, so they won't all go out together. I'm not sure how they're doing the group split, but yeah, split into groups, probably by championship order.
I was going to say, are they going
and-
to do it like Formula E do?
Yeah. And
do a
then
Super
the
Bowl?
first race is on the Friday. The second race and the third race are on the Saturday. 8:20 track time for the first Formula 2 race on the for the second Formula 2 race, sorry, on Saturday.
It's too early.
I was keep my
Yeah.
line anyway.
I don't know, quite. It's not like I have work in the evenings.
So that is 7:20 UK time for lights out.
Question is, how much do I want to sleep that night?
So if you're feeling awake on Friday morning and on Saturday morning and fancy watching some Formula 2, it's on at 7:20 on Sky Sports F1.
Or whichever broadcast you are in your
Yeah,
territory.
or whichever
Yeah.
broadcast from the region you're from. Let's be honest, it's probably Sky Sports F1 because
Yeah.
they do like half of Europe.
But then it might not be 7:20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll probably be
Hope
20
it's
past
not.
8 if it's
Yeah.
Europe then, because you know most of it runs on the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Central European time. But yeah, have we missed anything?
There was one thing going around, wasn't there, about Red Bull's rear wing,
Oh
what, the
yeah,
flexi
Flexi-wings.
rear ring.
flexible rear wing. Yeah.
I must admit, I did not
Yeah,
catch that. So.
They are going to be adding additional tests because watching the onboards from Spain, you could genuinely see Red Bull's wing like flexing and changing shape almost on the straights. It was flexing that much. So while stationary, it passes the load bearing tests on the FIA, but in motion, it seems to flex. If they fail the additional tests that the FIA are launching via a technical directive this weekend, they will have until France to come up with a new rear wing, and if they don't, they get disqualified from races for being in breach of the technical regulations.
Well, this is probably this year's, the annual argument about some kind of technical thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had it with DAS last year. I'm trying to think of previous ones.
The difference is, though, DAS was legal.
Yeah.
DAS was just very innovative, and Red Bull were like, oh, I don't think that's legal. And the FIA were like, well, but it is. I mean,
we had it with Renault in sort of 2005, 2006. Their tuned mass dampers.
We had it with Racing Point last season.
This is true.
Of course.
I was just getting slightly more historical.
Renault in 2019 as well over their brakes.
Yeah, we had.
Is it the F duct? Red Bull or something?
Oh yeah, the F duct where they had to. Yeah, that a lot of teams adopted that, and then it all got banned for safety reasons. McLaren had their third brake pedal.
What?
Well, yeah, third pedal. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had accelerator, brake, and then an extra pedal to the side of that, which just did. I think it was just the rear brakes, and it just meant that you could pivot the car better. And nobody knew for certain about it until a photographer managed to stick his camera down inside the monocoque when one of them retired halfway around the track. So
surely the FIA should have seen it though.
Yeah, but this was probably back before they did such high levels of scrutineering.
Possibly.
Like back in those days, it was. I mean, there were cases of people adding lead shot to the fuel tanks to increase the weight. So
a car showed up with 6 wheels.
Wasn't there
one showed up with a fan on the back?
Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
And there was Spygate, wasn't there as well? That was a big one.
Yeah, that wasn't so much a breach of the technical regulations as just spying.
Yeah.
And then
bad behavior.
Then there was Crashgate as well.
Yeah, and then there was that. Wasn't the Hamilton Australia like getting disqualified for overtaking?
Yeah, and then being instructed to lie to the stewards.
And there's like basically a lot of Michael Schumacher's career.
Nico Rosberg and
Mirabeau.
Monaco 2016. F1 is full of controversies. Maybe we'll dedicate an episode to it one day.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. But this Red Bull thing, I think I read somewhere, probably on Twitter, so it might not be totally accurate. But is it maybe worth a couple of tenths a lap?
It is worth time, yeah.
Yeah. So this is bad news for them if it gets banned, which it sounds like it might.
See, that's what seems weird.
But
to me,
maybe they should just have designed a legal car.
Yeah, but having a flexible rear wing to me does not scream more efficient. It screams less efficient because it moves.
No, think about it.
Is it literally just high speeds more?
For the high speed circuits, they always bring the wee small rear wings.
Yeah.
So if you can get your rear wing basically to get smaller on the straights,
less drag,
and then snap back into place on the corners. But yeah, if it is deemed illegal, maybe they should just have designed a legal car to catch Mercedes.
I mean, they've had enough issues with DRS as it is. We've seen it when someone's gone to activate it and it's flung open, and then has literally broken and has been
Yeah.
flapping about down the straight, or people have had it stuck open. I think it was it Ericsson,
in
Monza?
Italy.
I think that was his DRS stuck open. So when he
Yeah,
stamped
it
on the
was, yeah.
brakes, he just speared off to the left. So, I mean, yeah, like, there's enough issues with the DRS as it is in terms of like technically. So why would you want to risk it and make a flexible rear wing?
And then there was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as well, where we didn't have DRS for 30 odd laps because it broke at the FIA.
Snooze fest becomes more snoozy.
No, it was actually a better race.
I know,
Yeah,
it was
yes, it
weird.
was.
It was one of those ones where you'd think, oh yes, the overtaking aid is broken, but more people are overtaking? What?
Yeah.
So
I think it's because of the strange design of Abu Dhabi, where folk
Yeah.
were getting past in the straight, like the first straight, and then the
There's
car
not
behind
enough
wasn't
time.
immediately getting DRS to just blitz past again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very circuit specific for
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi, because the length of that first straight is so much greater than the second one. The car that got overtaken didn't have as much of a run to get back at the other car.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm trying to think of if there's like any other circuit that would benefit from not having DRS.
Austria, maybe?
I don't know. I don't really see the
It's
point
3
of it down
DRS
into
zones.
turn 1, if I'm being honest. I
Yeah,
think
but
you could
then
get rid of that one.
the turn 3, turn 4 one
Well, there's plenty of overtaking that goes on into turn 4, though. That's the thing.
with
If-
DRS.
Well, yeah.
Like, I think it would be interesting without DRS.
Styrian Grand Prix, no DRS.
Yeah.
Austrian Grand Prix DRS.
Well, that's what they wanted, like the commentators and stuff when we were going to Styria last year, was to remove the turn 3, 4 DRS zone.
Are we going to get different tyre compounds this year? Do we have any idea?
Unknown. I don't think Pirelli have announced the allocation yet.
That was one thing that we desperately wanted, was different tyre compounds. We got it at Silverstone,
Britain,
didn't we?
yeah.
Which everyone was then very worried about after everything exploded on the first race weekend.
Well, this weekend we're bringing C3, C4, and C5.
Yeah, but we always brought the softest stuff to Monaco,
Yeah.
didn't we? We always brought the hyper soft and the ultra soft and the super soft.
Bring back the hyper soft. Bring
It
back
just-
the rainbow.
It just sounds so much better than C5, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the rainbow did just look good.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it from let's bring new people into the sport. They instantly know which is the softest tire, but on a greater context, it gave you an idea of how abrasive each circuit was at a very quick glance. So you'd know that if they were running the orange, which was like the super hard or something, one week, you'd know that is a very abrasive circuit for that car compared to Singapore or Monaco, where they always ran the hypersoft.
Yeah.
So I quite liked it from that point of view, because it gave you a very quick snapshot of how aggressive the tires, how aggressive the circuit is on the tires. But I suppose we kind of still get that with the C1 to C5. It's just, a slightly more involved process of finding out which 3 we're on. So I don't know. I still liked the old version, but I can see why they've changed it.
Yeah, I can see why they've changed it, but I like the rainbow personally.
Yeah.
It was just a lot easier to understand.
I
Like, you
think
think, oh, hyper soft, yeah, very soft.
I think the only thing I'd change would be the blue. There was a dry blue tire.
Yeah, that was the hard tire.
Yeah, got confusing when the wets was a very similar shade of blue.
Yeah.
So I think if I was going to change it, I'd change that and make it a totally different color, or just a lighter shade of blue, like sky blue, because the wets is quite a deep blue for wet water. So
I guess you can sort of see that it's the wets.
Yeah, because it's got the massive grooves cut in the top. But when you're
and it's most likely wet when they're on.
Yeah, but when you're like out at a massive shot and you can just see like 6 cars going through and one of them's got blue tires on, you're thinking, what is he doing?
It's worth noting that this is from the original calendar.
Oh.
So we still have Canada on here.
Uh.
But for Monaco, C3, C4, C5. Azerbaijan, C3, C4, C5. Canada was supposed to be C3 to C5. France is C2, C3, C4. And Austria is C2, C3, C4.
Middle of the range.
Yeah,
So they could...
Britain being the hardest tyres. We're seeing the C1s again.
Yeah,
in
well,
the UK.
Britain always gets the hardest tyres.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Saudi Arabia,
loads of
C2,
those.
C3, C4.
I mean, I think that's understandable, really. They've just gone middle of the range for a circuit that we don't really know that much about.
Singapore, we're getting the softest tyres, which is a bit different. Because back in the days of the hyper soft and stuff, they weren't taken to Singapore. It was usually the soft, the super, and the ultra that went to Singapore.
I don't know. I hope that they do change it for Styria. I hope they do. I mean, it's different this time round because Styria's first. So I don't know whether I want them to move the Austrian tyre allocation forward or run the softer allocation the week before. Because if you run the softer allocation the week before, then you've got a lot of data.
I would run the harder specification first, similar to Britain last year, because no one knew how the tyres were going to run.
It changes the race because
it's a different
what
tyre.
was your medium is now your hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Britain, that basically ended up what was your soft became your race tyre, and then your medium was your race tyre, and that was it. Because everyone was so nervous about the tyres blowing up again, they were just like, we're just going to stick with what we know. So, but I don't know. It's an interesting one. You could argue the case of change the Austrian Grand Prix to the harder set and then change the Styrian one to the softest set, because then the teams only have data from one common set of tyre.
We're gonna sit and discuss this, and then it's gonna rain.
Yes, and
it's just going to be the inters and the wets.
So we can dream, right?
I mean, wet race, that'd be good.
Well, I mean, we saw wet qualifying at Styria. That was good. So
Max goes slide.
Carlos goes zoom into P3.
Yeah.
Tonio goes wee.
Hopefully when we go around Austria, Kimi's tyres will stay on.
Yes, that'd be nice.
I'll just never forget his team radio. The whole front right corner is gone. Okay, Kimi, park the car. Really, Alfa Romeo? Guess.
He's just going to trundle round.
Yeah.
And Crofty said he's had a massive crash. Really?
It's literally just
in fairness,
come off and he's parked it up
we
at the
did
pit
sort of.
straight.
We cut to Kimi. He's missing a tyre, parked right beside the pit wall. That indicates he's hit the wall. And then we seen the replay of it just going, adios.
Yeah, that was the strange bit. Like you cut to Kimi, you see he's got no tyre, but you also see his entire suspension element is still intact, and he's still got his front wing, his entire drum.
Yeah.
So
his front wing.
Yeah.
So one thing I love, I think it was that one where the tyre just comes off. You just see him coming down the road, and you just see the tyre go past the screen. I love that.
It was, what else did we have? We had Danny Kvyat's tyre just exploded down the home straight.
It wasn't even down the home straight. It was up to turn 3.
No, it was into turn 1. Because he pulled off there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking about when Magnussen's brakes just ceased working.
Yeah, and he did a 180. It was a nice pirouette, to be fair.
Yeah. Interesting way to stop.
It worked.
Just spin. And then Roman's brakes failed.
Yeah. See, the problem is K-Mag's replacement is trying the spin to go fast, whereas K-Mag was using it as a stopping procedure.
Vettel spun.
Well, I mean, the Ferraris
well,
collided.
Yeah. they
Well,
crashed
yeah,
into
that
each
was
other again.
Styria. Yeah, that was the next week.
Chaos. Basically, it was great fun.
Yeah, 2 fantastic races, and I'm looking forward to another doubleheader.
With fans this year, at least one of them.
Yeah, I looked on the website. There doesn't seem to be any tickets for
Yeah.
Styria. So
I guess it was only just announced, though.
yeah.
Yeah, those 2 Grand Prix were the great ones to start watching F1 on, and then just my expectations for the rest of the season were just disappointment.
Yeah, then we went to Hungary.
Yeah, because those 2 were my first 2 races I
Everyone
watched.
in commentary always says it's Monaco without the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 2 were the first races I watched, and the rest of the time was just disappointment. Oh, okay, no, disappointment.
In fairness, there was a lot of good racing in 2020.
Mm.
There was a lot of chaos in 2020. Looking at you, Mugello. Safety
that
car
was
restart, go
oh, God.
boom.
Yeah, but in fairness, I still don't think that was Bottas's fault. I think that
Oh
was
no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
one can say it's Bottas's fault.
I mean,
It's the back of the grid's
Grosjean
fault.
on the radio. Whoever was at the front is stupid. No, the guys in the first 10 cars were fine because they were doing what they were supposed to. It was the guys behind trying to get a jump that royally screwed themselves.
For Roman, I can understand why he thought it was Bottas's fault, because he's seen cars belt it in front of him.
Yeah.
So he's done it as well. And then those cars are sort of stopped. So he's thought Bottas has done that. But it wasn't. It was just whoever was in like 11th was like, oh, I go fast. Wait, no.
Yeah, if we can avoid another one of those this year, I think that would be great, because that was just, well, it was quite scary, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just sitting watching, and all of a sudden cars are going everywhere. You're like, what?
Yeah, I was sat there watching, you watch the restart, so you're thinking, okay, there's going to be an overtake, watch the front 3 cars, and all of a sudden there's just a massive plume of debris at the back. It's like, what? This is a safety car restart. This doesn't happen here. This happens at turn 1.
It's like you haven't. And the best thing is they hadn't even restarted yet. They were still in the safety car portion. Only Bottas had entered the green flags. Oh dear. But yeah, it was a fun season. I enjoyed 2020. And I'm enjoying 2021 some more.
Yeah, if they could stop changing the calendar so I don't have to keep crossing out my notes, that'd be great.
Yeah. I don't.
Front page is gone.
I don't think there's many other races at risk apart from Brazil.
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe
and Mexico, because Mexico, the track's been used as a field hospital.
That's why difficult.
That's why Formula E can't race there. They're racing at a different circuit.
Damn. Still, suddenly, oh no, I've got COVID. Field hospital. Oh look, best seats in the house.
Tuscan Grand Prix.
Yeah, where would we go? Because they're back to back.
That's a triple header.
Yeah.
Go back to Canada again, or like one of those American tracks that we said about.
Well, Turkey isn't cancelled. Turkey is only postponed.
Don't know what the weather's like in November.
Officially, Turkey has been postponed.
Interesting, considering that they're just a stand-in race for this year. So
it's the same as China. It's if a gap opens up in the calendar.
Oh, okay,
they've got circuits. Yeah.
Right. Well, at least they've got ideas. But I don't think that a double-header Turkey to China would be great.
Well,
especially seeing as it's the week after the US Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was about to say that double header makes sense. Going the US to Turkey, not so much. It's not a great triple header.
I suppose you could go US China, go that way round, and then go to Turkey.
Or just sort of make Australia part of a triple header, like go Turkey, China, Australia.
Yeah. But that's even more calendar rejigs at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess the bonus, those 2 of them are permanent circuits, and you just don't move Australia.
Yeah.
You're literally just delaying the other races by like 2 weeks. So, yeah, I guess time will tell. But unless there's anything else,
W Series started testing Anglesey today.
W Series is joining us at circuit soon.
Yeah,
The
it's
Castellet.
both Austrian races. They've changed it.
Yeah,
because-
W Series aren't going to Le Castellet.
not anymore, no, because it moved. So they're going to both
Oh, right, yeah.
Austrian races. The UK, I think.
Yeah, definitely still the same.
Yeah, I think after that it's the same as Formula One.
Yeah.
They've just not moved, which I find quite strange because Formula 3 moved with the French Grand Prix, and I think W Series only races are part of Formula 1 this year. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they've become a
Yeah.
support series this year rather than a standalone. But still interesting. Maybe it was just more logistic challenges for them to
possibly,
move it a week forward.
So I know a lot of the W Series drivers are in like other series,
Yeah,
so like, it could also depend on like a lot of them, because not all of them
Yeah.
drive in formulas. Some of them do like other different types of motorsport as well. So it could have just depended on like one big series that a lot of people were in. Who knows?
yeah.
yeah. There's no point turning up to a track and you've got 3 drivers.
Yeah.
So, what else is there?
I don't
I think there's anything else.
when are Formula E racing again? I don't think it's till June.
Yeah,
At
it's
this
not for a
point?
while.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is Britain
Next is Mexico in 19th and
In
20th
Britain.
of June.
That's if that goes ahead, though. So,
If it goes
Yeah.
ahead, yes.
Mexico will, because they've got a different circuit.
right, yes.
They're going to Puebla rather than Mexico City. So yeah, it is Puebla doubleheader, New York doubleheader, London doubleheader, Berlin doubleheader, and then that's the end of the season.
Kind of
For-
gutting you only get one race in Monaco, to be honest, considering how good it was.
Mm.
Yeah,
Can't believe saying that, but
I know, right?
yeah.
Oh God, it doesn't taste right to say that. It tastes really weird to say I can't believe we're not going to Monaco again.
yeah,
But I guess that shows you the difference a car can make. So
yeah.
please, Formula One, do the 2022 regs right and make Monaco interesting, please.
Exactly. One thing we actually just while we're quickly touching on Formula E again, Mercedes had a very poor race in Monaco, but scored
Neither of
no
them finished.
points.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's the first race weekend sort of thing that Mercedes haven't scored points this season. So
Wasn't it one of the Rome ones? Neither of them.
yeah, they didn't score in one of the races, but they scored at the next race. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
the
they
first,
didn't
like,
score.
it's the
in
first
the-
track that they've not scored at all this season.
Yeah, they didn't in race 3, but race 4, Stoffel won the race. So.
Still top in the team's championship, and I think Stoffel's like 2 points behind in the drivers. So they're not far away.
No, because Nick, I think Nick was leading the championship before
Yeah.
this race.
So sorry, not Stoffel. Nick is just behind. Or is he still
That was
leading?
what I was going to say. Nick
Yeah,
de Vries in Formula
France
E
is leading
qualifying.
now with 5 points.
That was cheeky, to be honest, in the Formula E qualifying.
I missed quali.
Oh.
What happened?
I've watched it on iPlayer, and in the first group, basically, De Vries and teammate went out 1 and 2. De Vries as rear gunner, and basically just backed up everyone else to the point that on the corner into the tunnel, De Vries got hit in the rear end, and then on the run down into Tabac, someone tried to overtake him, and he just fully blocked them. And then asked about it afterwards, he just completely denied blocking.
Oh.
So
I don't think he got penalised, so the stewards obviously agreed.
I mean, you look at it from the camera angle they have looking down at Tabac, and he has clearly blocked that guy. But obviously they've just gone, it's qualifying. Everyone still made it to the flag anyway. Oh well. So
I'll check. Qualifying
was-
Group 1.
yeah, it was a bit. I don't know. It didn't. I didn't like it. It just didn't feel like proper quali when you're literally just holding someone up just for the sake of it. So.
Car 22 is Oliver Turvey. Had his super pole time deleted. Oh no, sorry, that was position. But yeah, so Roland had his super pole time deleted, but yeah, De Vries wasn't penalised for anything. And started 23rd anyway.
I mean, I'd recommend you go and look at it at iPlayer because
yeah, well,
there's questionable, shall we say?
Yeah, so that wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Join us next week where we'll review the Monaco Grand Prix. Hopefully it was good.
5-minute episode.
We could at least review qualifying.
Yeah.
It'll be my last episode before isolation. So we're going to isolation next Tuesday.
Well, I mean, you can still record from isolation.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the plan.
The perks of being virtual.
I'm just going to be sat here for pretty much 3 days until I go into hospital and then come back out and then sat here again until however long I'm supposed to wait. So
Love it.
That's the great thing. They're like, yeah, they'll tell you on the day. So it's like, I'm trying to tell work how long I'm going to be off for. And I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be 7 days, 14 days.
Longer. Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, just let us know when you know. And I'll be like, yeah, that's the day before one of my shifts. So let's just say I'm not coming in that weekend and call it quits.
Sounds good. Then I'll phone you if I'm going to be off some more.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Join us next week for reviewing of the Monaco Grand Prix. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, thumbs up, 5 stars, all the thing. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Tell your friends. Just anything. If you enjoy the content, please do share it. Because we're enjoying making it for everyone. And we shall see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.